Are vitamins killing Americans? You need to know the truth about this and share this with everybody that you know. I'm Dr. Robert Teal. I'm president of Doctors Research, Inc. I have a PhD in nutrition science and in the first scientist since World War II to get a paper published in a major medical journal explaining why all the vitamins are better if they're real as opposed to synthetics that most people are taking. Sadly, most people, including most doctors, do not know the difference between natural and synthetic vitamins and between real vitamins found in food and those that are pretty much in most supplements. But the reality is, synthetic, commonly consumed vitamins are dangerous. In October 2011, a study involving 38,772 older women from Iowa found that women who took multivitamin, multimineral formulas actually died sooner than those who did not take them. Now, obviously, people are taking vitamins and minerals because they want to live longer, they want to, for health or promote better health. But people are dying sooner from taking them. And that's a pretty big study. And actually, that study found some of the more dangerous vitamins were synthetic vitamin B6, folic acid, which is synthetic, and in terms of the mineral side, it was iron, magnesium, copper, and zinc. They were all related to dying sooner. And you say, well, how can that be? Well, it can be because most people are taking vitamins and minerals in forms that are not found in food. They're not natural. They're not the way God intended them to be consumed. They're not the way people should have them. Also, in 2010, several researchers came out explaining that folic acid, which a lot of people take, seems to increase the risk for colon cancer, probably prostate cancer, and possibly breast cancer. And most people don't realize that. They think, oh, I'm taking these B50 formula and I'm getting all this stuff in it and this is really good for me. But folic acid is dangerous. It's a synthetic form of what used to be called vitamin B9. And what people do not realize is that a lot of people are taking 800, 1200, 1600 micrograms or even more of folic acid. And the human body, research found in the 20th century, can only convert 266 micrograms of folic acid into usable methylfolate. And since the recommended daily intake of folic acid is 400 micrograms or more per day, we've got a problem because the body can't convert it. And I've warned for quite a few years that this was dangerous, and now we're seeing more and more studies come out that say it is. It's more than just that. There's a UK study came out in 1998 about carotenoids and said they have potentially adverse effects. Now these are purified, isolated ones, not the ones found in foods. Then there was a study in the 2007 edition of the Journal of American Medical Association on antioxidants that found there was no evidence to support the use of antioxidant supplements to prevent mortality in healthy people or patients with various diseases. What do you mean? Antioxidants don't work? Of course antioxidants work, but antioxidant vitamins that most people take do not work. According to the PDR for nutritional supplements, the most commonly used sort of natural, but not food, form of vitamin E does not have proven antioxidant effects in human beings, but people put them in their antioxidant formulas. Ascorbic acid, which a lot of people take, does not been shown to have proven high levels of antioxidant ability in human beings. Now, in test tubes, in vitro, yeah, these things have all kinds of antioxidant effects. But in the body, the human body, your body, my body, not so much. But food vitamins do. Food nutrients do. Food nutrients are what people need. Food nutrients are safer for people, are healthier for people. There's one report here. He was basing it on some studies published in the New England Journal of Medicine and experiments at the University of California, Berkeley, proved, quote, that taking synthetic vitamins is worse than starvation. The synthetic vitamins will kill you quicker. And I'm not advocating that people take synthetic vitamins. I think they're dangerous. I've been saying this for quite a long time. How long? Well, I started lecturing on this in the late 20th century to healthcare professionals. Then, in the year 2000, I had a paper published in a major medical journal explaining why all the vitamins are better if they're natural, they're food, as opposed to the synthetic ones that most people take. In 2001, in a holistic journal, I had published mineral salts are for plants, food complex minerals are for humans. In 2003, in Naturopathic Journal, I wrote the truth about vitamins and supplements. And people still are ignoring the truth about vitamins and supplements. Most people still think most of the vitamins they're getting are food, and they're not. There's no U.S. government definition of natural, so companies put natural all over the label. People think they're getting foods when they're not. I mentioned this one before. This is a chiropractic journal. In 2004, I had published Is folic acid hazardous to your health? Because at the time I knew it was dangerous. The study had come out from the British Medical Journal explaining that there were some dangers associated with it. And I concluded that it could cause problems, and I didn't know it could cause cancer until later, but I did feel it was unsafe to consume something synthetic that the human body would not normally want. Alternative Medicine, by the way, interviewed me with my picture back in 2005 about the effects of nutrition for people with Down syndrome. And at the time I explained why food vitamins were superior to non-food vitamins, including for people with Down syndrome. I felt so strongly about that. I had a paper published also in 2005 called Can Cognitive Deterioration Associated with Down Syndrome Be Reduced? I had this published in a major medical journal. And you say, well, I can't get Down syndrome, so why would I care? Well, you should care because kids with Down syndrome start to accumulate something called advanced protein glycation end products in their brain. Actually, it starts before they're born. So while they make progress, they start to deteriorate after a certain age, after the brain starts to stop growing. Well, the same type of protein glycation end products also accumulate in the brains of those with Alzheimer's, and you may be at risk of that. Or diabetes. We have pretty much an epidemic of diabetes in the Western societies these days, and the accumulation of advanced protein glycation end products for diabetics is not just in the brain, it's in other parts of the body. It causes all kinds of complications associated with diabetes. And when I was explaining about the advantages of food nutrients, that's food vitamins and food minerals, why they are more effective in preventing the accumulation of advanced protein glycation end products. This is something that more research needs to be done on, but this is a serious problem. People should be getting food nutrients to help prevent problems, to help optimize their health, and not rely on the synthetics that most people think are supposed to work. I had a book published for healthcare professionals in 2006 explaining why food nutrients were better. It's a 380-some page book. In 2010, I co-authored a book in Europe explaining why real naturopathy involves real food nutrients and not the phony ones that a lot of so-called naturopaths in the U.S. use. The reality is food nutrients are superior, and that's what people should be doing. I alluded to this before. This is in a chiropractic journal in 2010, where I said folic acid is hazardous to your health, again, based on research done by other researchers and studies explaining that folic acid is dangerous. And the reason they think it's dangerous and is becoming more prevalent is that as we have more processed foods in our food supply, governments say, we don't have enough certain vitamins and that kind of stuff, so they spray vitamins on foods. And they decided to add folic acid to some foods, and basically these are normally foods like white flour, white rice, and other refined carbs. Well, this has increased the amount of folic acid, synthetic folic acid, in people's diets. And a lot of researchers are worried that this is causing an increase of certain types of cancer based on the data that they've looked at. And while we're on this subject of spraying vitamins on foods, most breakfast cereals, if they've got 100% of most vitamins, that's basically what's happened. They take a grain, whether it's a whole grain or a refined grain, and they spray vitamins on it. That's really what's done. And also, sometimes you'll find it in some stores, there are so-called food-based vitamins. Now, I know common sense tells you food-based vitamins should be food vitamins. Unfortunately, apparently the legal definition is they have a base of food and they spray synthetic vitamins on them. So just because something says it's a food-based vitamin, you better read the label very carefully to make sure there's no synthetic vitamins in it, or better yet, call the manufacturer and ask, do you use any thiamine mononitrate or thiamine hydrochloride, both of which are synthetic? Do you use any folic acid, which is synthetic? Do you use any thiamine HCl, which is synthetic? Do you use any cyanocobalamin, which is synthetic? Or do you use any ground up rock minerals, which are, again, not found in foods? Humans eat plants. Plants take minerals. They break down their chemical structure. And let's say a plant ingests calcium carbonate. When it ingests it, there is no calcium carbonate, or at least no significant amount, in the plant. And this is important because food calcium is safe for people. A study came out about a year or so ago that said that if you consume isolated calcium supplements, like a lot of women do, some men do as well, you increase your risk for heart attack. Now, you don't have to take supplements that cause heart attack, but that same study said, by the way, food calcium doesn't do that. And that's the reality. Food nutrients are much safer for humans, and food nutrients are what people should be taking. This is the latest edition of my book, Serious Nutrition for Healthcare Professionals, or basically how healthcare professionals can incorporate food nutrients into their practice. So those of you who want to get more information on food nutrients to an extensive level, if you're a practitioner, may want to consider going ahead and getting this particular book, which is available at our website, www.doctorsresearch.com. That's www.doctorsresearch.com. Now, Doctors Research, we supply food vitamins and food minerals to healthcare professionals. All of the food brand products are 100% food. There's no isolated USB vitamins in them. There's no ground up rocks. Food nutrients are what people should be consuming. So please, if you care about your friends and relatives, they're probably taking synthetic vitamins. They probably do not know that they're taking synthetic vitamins. In a brochure I did a few years ago, I put 98.97% of vitamins consumed are synthetic. And if you actually talk about just supplements, it's probably over 99%. Most people are consuming synthetics. They are dangerous. Those are the type of vitamins that are killing Americans, and those are what people should not be doing. Food vitamins are what people need. For more information about food vitamins, I suggest
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be back because I think everything I just said was null and void. With that being said, get that real food in your body. Get your body, mind aligned. Get your structure aligned. And the byproduct of that is automatic improvements in your health. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kevin. We'll get figured out with all this online technology. Blessings, best regards. I'll see you tomorrow night. Transformation Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Adios.